Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle two words that, they sound almost the same. We use them interchangeably all the time, but in physics, they are worlds apart. So let's dive in and finally clear up the confusion between centripetal and centrifugal force.
Come on, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're in a car, maybe in the passenger seat, the driver hangs a sharp turn, and suddenly you feel totally squished up against the door. It's a feeling we've all had.
And that feeling is so strong, it's like an invisible force is literally shoving you sideways. So that's the big question we're asking today. Is that push real, or is something else going on here?
Okay, to solve this little mystery, first we have to meet the actual hero of the story, the force that's really in charge anytime something moves in a circle. So let's get to know centripetal force.
All right, here's the absolute most important thing to get right away. Centripetal force is a real force. You can measure it. And its direction is always the same. It pulls an object inward, right toward the center of whatever circle it's traveling in.
So, what's its job? Well, it's pretty simple. Without that centripetal force constantly pulling it toward the center, an object would just, it'd fly off in a straight line. It's the tether, the leash, that makes any kind of circular motion even possible.
And here's what's cool. Centripetal force isn't a type of force. It's more like a job title. So, when you swing a ball on a string, the tension in that string is doing the job of centripetal force. For planets orbiting the sun, it's gravity doing the job. And for our car making that turn, it's the friction between the tires and the road that's pulling the car into the curve.
Okay, so if centripetal force is the real deal pulling things inward, then what in the world is that outward push we feel? Well, it's time to meet the phantom of our story, the so-called centrifugal force.
And right here, this is the big reveal. Centrifugal force is what physicists call an apparent force. Sometimes they'll even say a fictitious force. It's not real in the same way gravity is. It's a sensation, a feeling, that we only perceive when we're inside a system that's spinning.
So why do we feel it so strongly if it's not real? Well, that outward push isn't a push at all. It's actually the feeling of your own inertia. And all inertia is your body's natural tendency to keep going in a straight line. Your body wants to keep doing whatever it was just doing.
And boom, this brings us right back to that car. You feel pushed against the door because the car is turning inward, but your body just wants to keep going straight ahead. The exact same thing happens in a washing machine on the spin cycle. The clothes feel pressed against the drum because they're trying to fly off in a straight line, but the drum keeps pulling them back in.
Okay, it's time for the main event. Let's put these two side by side for the ultimate showdown. This is where it's all going to click. Real versus apparent. Let's go.
So on one side, we've got the real inward pull, and on the other, the apparent outward push. Let's see how they stack up against each other.
This table just breaks it all down perfectly. So first up, direction. Centripetal is always toward the center. Centrifugal feels like it's away from the center. Next, nature, and this is the big one. One is a real force, the other is apparent. It's just a feeling. And finally, that frame of reference thing. All that means is that a real centrifugal force can be measured by anyone, standing still or moving. But you only feel that centrifugal effect when you're the one going around in the circle.
So after all that, what's the one thing you absolutely need to remember? Let's just boil it all down to the most important point. When it comes to circular motion, it is all about the pull.
Here it is, a super simple two-step way to keep this straight forever. Step 1. Centripetal is the real inward pull. Just think of a leash keeping a pet from running off. Step 2. Centrifugal is the apparent outward push you feel. Think of a fugitive trying to escape, outward. It's just a feeling, not a real force.
Let's go back to that car one last time and put a bow on this thing. The only real force making that car turn is the centripetal force. And in this case, that's the friction from the tires, pulling the car inward, toward the center of the turn. And that feeling, that sensation of being shoved against the car door, that is not a force pushing you. That's just the car door getting in the way of your body, which wants to keep going straight. The car turns, your inertia doesn't. And just like that, mystery solved.
So, I'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. The next time you're at an amusement park, on a roller coaster, hanging upside down in a loop, ask yourself, what's really